Have you ever felt like you're trapped in a never-ending loop, stuck in a situation you can't escape from? No matter what you do, things just don't seem to change. What if I told you the key to setting yourself free lies within you? And not just any key, the key to unlocking your desires, transforming your reality, and breaking free from the prison of your own mind is already in your hands. Now imagine that in this very moment, you could step out of that feeling of being stuck. All it takes is one shift in perspective. There was a time in my life when I too felt trapped. In the depths of despair, I was burdened by my circumstances, burdened by doubt. I found myself questioning, why is my life not changing? Why do I feel like I'm always moving in circles? But one day I realized something powerful. I had been thinking of myself as a victim of my circumstances. But here's the truth. You are not a victim of your circumstances. Circumstances are nothing more than the reflection of your inner state, of the thoughts and feelings you are holding within. And I want you to understand this clearly. The moment you change within, the world around you must change. I began practicing the law of assumption, and everything shifted. It's not enough to just think about what you want. You must feel it as if it's already true. I remember one specific moment standing in front of a mirror, feeling like my dreams were slipping further away. But I closed my eyes and imagined my wish fulfilled. I dared to feel the emotions of that fulfilled wish as though it had already happened. In that very moment, I understood what was truly meant by feeling is the secret. It was then that I realized imagination creates reality. Whatever you hold in your imagination, with persistent faith and feeling, will eventually harden into fact. It's simple. Your imagination is the key. It is not only a mental tool, but the divine power you possess. The world is yourself pushed out. Whatever you see outside of you is the reflection of your inner thoughts. So if you want to change your world, start with changing how you feel about it. You are the creator of your reality. The world you see is but a projection of your inner thoughts. Imagine what you want as already real and live in that feeling. Just as I did, remain loyal to your inner assumption, regardless of external evidence. Don't wait for things to change to feel the way you want to feel. Break free from negative thought patterns that hold you back. When you change internally, your external reality must follow. Assume that it is done, and it will be done. These principles were the very tools I used to pull myself from the depths of despair into a life of possibility. Your freedom is within you. It is simply a matter of changing how you see yourself and what you believe about your circumstances. As I stand before you now, I know that your breakthrough is waiting for you. The moment you shift your imagination, the moment you feel the wish fulfilled, your world will shift with you. Imagine for a moment that you are more than the circumstances surrounding you. You are more than the situations you find yourself in, more than the conditions that seem to define your current state of affairs. Now, what if I told you that the very essence of your life, your power, lies not in what you see before you, but in what you carry within? You are not your circumstances. You are not a victim to what is happening in your life at this very moment. You see, the first step to setting yourself free from the chains of limitation and confusion is recognizing that you are not defined by your circumstances. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that your circumstances dictate who you are, that they hold some final authority over your life. But nothing could be further from the truth. Circumstances are simply reflections of what is going on in your mind. They are not permanent. They are transient, ever shifting and changing in accordance with your thoughts, your beliefs, and most importantly, your imagination. Many people believe that the world around them has power over them, that what they see, hear, and experience is something they cannot change. They see the bills, the debts, the job they don't like, the relationships that are strained, the illness that persists, and they think this is their reality. But reality is not a fixed thing. Reality is a fluid, malleable entity that can shift and change in accordance with the thoughts and feelings that you choose to hold. At some point in life, I too found myself overwhelmed by the seeming immensity of my circumstances. I looked around me, and all I saw was evidence of my failure, evidence of things not working, evidence that my desires were out of reach. It felt as if everything was a struggle, as if every path I took led to a dead end. But in that moment of despair, I realized a powerful truth. I was not my circumstances. I was simply a reflection of my own beliefs and assumptions. Your circumstances are not a reflection of your worth, your potential, or your true nature. They are simply a reflection of the thoughts and feelings you have held in the past. What you see around you is the effect of your inner world, the thoughts, the beliefs, the assumptions, and the feelings you have chosen to adopt. This realization was transformative for me. I understood that the key to changing my outer world was not by trying to change everything around me, but by changing my inner world, the way I viewed myself and my place in the world. It may be difficult to grasp at first, but think of it this way. You are the master of your own fate, the architect of your own reality. What is happening outside of you is simply a reflection of what is happening inside of you. If you are seeing a world full of limitation, scarcity, and fear, then it is because those are the thoughts and feelings you are harboring within. But if you change your inner state, if you begin to think and feel differently about yourself and your life, the outer world must, by law, reflect those changes. For instance, if you feel stuck in your career, you may believe that the job market is tough or that opportunities are scarce. But in truth, your belief in scarcity is what creates that very experience. The moment you begin to see opportunities everywhere, when you begin to believe that your talents and abilities are valuable and deserving of recognition, you will begin to see the world around you mirror that shift in perception. Jobs, opportunities, and people will show up in your life in ways you never thought possible. This is a simple but profound truth. You are not your circumstances. You are the creator of your life, and your inner world, your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are the blueprint for your reality. The moment you realize this, you break free from the chains of limitation. No longer will you be bound by the illusion that your circumstances are fixed. You hold the power to change them, and it starts with changing yourself. Think about this for a moment. How often do you hear people say things like, "I'll be happy when I get that promotion," or "I'll be successful once I have more money," or "I'll be at peace when my relationship improves"? What they're doing is waiting for external circumstances to change before they can change their inner state. But that's backward. It is only when you change your inner state first, when you align your thoughts, your assumptions, and your feelings with the reality you desire, that the outer world can begin to reflect that change. It's important to recognize that the world around you is malleable. It is not rigid or fixed. You are not stuck in a situation. You are simply experiencing the effect of your past thinking. And if you don't like the effect, you can change the cause. You have the ability at any moment to begin imagining yourself in a new reality, to begin assuming that your circumstances are already as you wish them to be. But here's the catch. You must believe it is possible. That's the key. When you realize that you are not your circumstances, when you begin to see that you have the power to shift your reality through your inner world, you open the door to endless possibilities. But you must first believe that it can be done. If you continue to identify with your circumstances, if you continue to see yourself as a victim of life's conditions, you will remain stuck. But if you choose to believe that you are more than your present reality, if you choose to believe that you are a creator of your own world, then you will begin to see the evidence of this truth in your life. Change begins within. It begins with your thoughts, your beliefs, and your feelings. The moment you recognize that you are not your circumstances, you unlock the door to your freedom. You step into the role of the creator of your life, and you begin to see the world outside of you shift in alignment with the world within you. Your reality will reflect your inner state. You are not your circumstances. You are the creator, the architect, and the designer of your life. And the moment you claim this truth, your circumstances must change to reflect it. The world you experience is not the world as it truly is, but rather a projection of your inner thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. Imagine for a moment that the world you see around you is simply a reflection of your mind, like the surface of a calm lake that mirrors everything above it. If you change what is above the surface, the reflection below must also change. The world you see is nothing more than a projection of your thoughts, and this projection is ever changing, shifting with the changes within you. This idea is difficult for many to grasp because we are conditioned to believe that the outer world is fixed, that what we see is permanent and beyond our control. We see our problems, our challenges, and we assume they are real, solid, and unchangeable. But this is an illusion. Imagination is the only reality. Your mind is the creator of your world, and what you think, feel, and imagine becomes your experience. The reason for this is simple. Imagination creates reality. The reality you see, hear, and experience is shaped by the images you hold in your mind. The thoughts and feelings you entertain on a consistent basis become your beliefs, and these beliefs are what you experience in the physical world. The world around you cannot change unless you first change within. This is the law of the universe, and it is as powerful as it is simple. Your imagination is not just a fleeting, whimsical thing. It is the most powerful tool you possess. Everything that has ever been created, everything that has ever come into existence, has been first imagined. From the smallest object to the largest achievements, all began as a thought, an idea, an image in someone's mind. Everything you see around you, from the buildings you live in to the clothes you wear, was once nothing more than a dream in someone's imagination. This truth applies to your life as well. Your life, your circumstances, your reality is being created by the images you hold in your mind. But here's the thing: you must learn to control your imagination if you want to change your life. You must learn to consciously direct your thoughts and feelings toward what you desire. This does not mean simply wishing for things or hoping that they will happen. It means assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It means feeling, living, and thinking as though what you desire is already a reality. When you begin to imagine your desires as already fulfilled, something profound happens. The world around you begins to shift. Your imagination becomes your reality. The images you hold in your mind will eventually take form in your external world. This is not some abstract concept or mystical idea. It is the fundamental law of creation. Your inner world is the cause, and your outer world is the effect. The moment you begin to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the external world will begin to reflect that assumption. This process requires you to shift your consciousness. It requires you to think beyond the limitations of what is currently happening in your life, and instead focus on the feeling of your desire as if it has already happened. This is where the true power lies, the ability to live in the end. Do not wait for your circumstances to change to feel the way you want to feel. Feel the way you would feel if your desire were already fulfilled. When you do this, you begin to align yourself with the reality you wish to experience. You see, the world outside you is constantly shifting, moving, and changing in response to your inner state. When you change the images you hold in your imagination, you change your vibration, and the world around you must follow. This is why it is so important to be mindful of your thoughts. Every thought you think is creating the world you will experience tomorrow. The more you can focus on the feeling of your desire being fulfilled, the more you will see that very desire manifesting in your life. However, many people resist this idea because they believe the world around them is solid and unchangeable. They look at their circumstances and believe they are permanent, but this belief is false. Circumstances are simply the effects of what you have imagined and assumed in the past. They are not fixed. You are not stuck in any situation unless you choose to remain there. The moment you change your inner world, the outer world must change to reflect that new state of being. For example, if you are struggling with a financial situation, it may seem impossible to break free from the cycle of lack. But this struggle is merely a reflection of your inner beliefs about money and abundance. If you have been conditioned to believe that money is scarce, or that you are not worthy of financial abundance, you will continue to see the effects of this belief in your outer world. But the moment you change your belief, when you begin to imagine yourself as already wealthy, already abundant, the world around you must change to match that new belief. This is not wishful thinking. It is the law of the universe. Your thoughts create your reality, and the moment you change your thoughts, your reality must shift with them. You may not see immediate results, but this is where the power of persistence comes in. You must continue to live in the end. Continue to feel your desire as already fulfilled, regardless of what your outer circumstances tell you. This process requires faith. It requires you to believe that your imagination is not just a fleeting, fanciful notion, but a powerful, creative force that can shape your life. Your imagination is not separate from the universe. It is one with it. The same force that created the stars and the oceans resides within you, and it is through your imagination that you can tap into that divine power. In this way, imagination is not only a tool for creation, but a bridge between the inner world and the outer world. When you imagine something, you are sending out a signal to the universe, and the universe responds. It is as if the very fabric of reality bends and shifts to align with the images you hold in your mind. This is the power of imagination. It is not something you simply use for dreams or fantasies. It is the very force that shapes your life, your experiences, and your future. So the next time you find yourself doubting the power of your imagination, remember that the world is yourself pushed out. The world you see around you is a reflection of your inner thoughts and beliefs. Change those thoughts, change those beliefs, and the world you experience will change with them. Imagination creates reality. Your imagination is the key to unlocking the life you desire, and it is the only reality that exists. The feeling of your wish fulfilled is the most powerful force at your disposal. This is not a mere mental exercise or wishful thinking. This is the key that unlocks the door to all that you desire. Feel the wish fulfilled. That is the secret. It is not enough to merely think about what you want, to hope for it, or to visualize it in your mind. You must feel as though it is already true, as if it has already happened, as though it is part of your current reality. When you truly understand this principle, everything changes. Feeling is the secret, because it is the feeling that shapes your reality. Your imagination alone cannot create change unless it is coupled with the feeling that your wish is already a reality. Feel the joy, the peace, the fulfillment, and the satisfaction of having already achieved what you desire. When you are able to do this consistently, you align yourself with the reality you want to experience, and that reality must come to you. Now you may ask, how do I feel the wish fulfilled when my current circumstances tell me otherwise? That is the challenge. It requires faith and persistence, but it is also the key to your freedom. When you are confronted with evidence that contradicts your desire, that is the moment when your ability to feel the wish fulfilled becomes crucial. You must feel it in the face of all contrary evidence. You must stand firm in the knowing that your desire is already a reality, that it is already done, regardless of what the world around you is showing you. This is the work, and this is the magic. When you feel the wish fulfilled, your feelings become the driving force that propels you toward your desired outcome. Your emotions are not just reactions to what happens outside of you, they are the creators of your reality. The emotions you hold, the feelings you entertain, are what bring your desires into being. When you feel the emotions of your wish fulfilled, you are giving birth to it in the physical world. What you feel is what you create. Take a moment and reflect on this. Have you ever had a goal or a desire that seemed to come out of nowhere? Something that just suddenly appeared, as though by magic. What you may not have realized at the time is that your subconscious mind had been working on that desire long before it materialized. You had, without even being fully conscious of it, been feeling the wish fulfilled. You had been imagining the outcome and living in the feeling of it. Whether it was a job offer, a relationship, or an opportunity, that desire was birthed from the emotions you held around it. This is how all things are created. It is not enough to merely see the end result in your mind. You must feel it as if it is already here. When you immerse yourself in the feeling of already having what you want, you are aligning your inner world with the outer world. The outer world is simply a mirror of your inner state, and when your inner state shifts, so must the outer world. It may sound simple, and in many ways it is. But the simplicity of this truth is what makes it so powerful. You are the creator of your reality, and you are the one who chooses what you feel. You may not be able to control the circumstances around you, but you can always control how you feel in relation to them. When you change your emotional state, the world around you must reflect that change. Think of a time when you experienced a major shift in your life. Perhaps you suddenly found yourself in a new job, a new city, or a new relationship. Do you remember how you felt when it happened? You probably felt excitement, joy, and fulfillment. That feeling was the seed of the change that manifested. Your inner state created the circumstances of your life by aligning with the emotions of what you desired. This is why it is so important to cultivate the feeling of your wish fulfilled now. Do not wait for things to change in the outer world before you allow yourself to feel the way you want to feel. The outer world will change in response to your inner state, but you must be willing to take the first step. You must choose to feel the way you want to feel right now, regardless of what is happening outside of you. If you wait for things to change in order to feel happy, fulfilled, or successful, you will be waiting forever. Feel the change first, and the world will follow. When you begin to understand the power of feeling, you will realize that your emotions are your most valuable tool. Your feelings are not something that happen to you. They are something you create. When you consciously direct your emotions, you are directing your future. You are sending out a signal to the universe that your wish is already fulfilled, and the universe in turn must respond. It has no choice but to align itself with your feelings, because your feelings are the creative force in the universe. Take a moment to consider how powerful this is. Your emotions are the blueprint of your reality. They are not just reactions to what is happening around you. They are the driving force that creates what will happen next. If you feel lack, if you feel scarcity, if you feel unworthy, then that is what the world will reflect back to you. But if you feel abundance, if you feel worthy, if you feel successful, then that is what will come into your life. Feel the wish fulfilled, and your world will shift to match that feeling. Your world will change in response to your inner state. This is not just theory. It is the law of life. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret that unlocks the door to all that you desire. When you feel your desire as already fulfilled, you are aligning yourself with the reality that already exists. It is only a matter of time before the outer world catches up to your inner world. Remember, you are not waiting for your desire to come to you. It is already here, and you must feel it now. The moment you do, you will begin to see it manifest in the physical world. So feel it deeply, feel it fully, and feel it as if it has already happened. And when you do, you will find that the world around you begins to shift in ways you never thought possible. The magic is in the feeling, and when you master the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you will master the art of creating your reality. The world as you see it is not a solid, unchanging entity. It is a reflection, a mirror of your inner world. Everything that appears to be real in your external reality has been formed from the inner pictures you hold in your mind. Your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings are the architects of your world, shaping every circumstance, event, and experience you encounter. If you want to change your world, you must begin by changing the images you hold in your mind. When you begin to understand that the outer world is a projection of your inner state, you begin to realize the immense power you possess. The way you see the world, the way you see yourself, and the assumptions you hold about life and others are the building blocks of your reality. These beliefs are not just abstract concepts, they are the lens through which you perceive and experience everything around you. The problem arises when we take our external reality at face value and fail to recognize that it is simply a reflection of our inner world. We tend to think that what we see is fixed and unchangeable, that the circumstances we find ourselves in are permanent. But nothing is fixed. The world is not rigid, it is fluid, responsive to the images and assumptions you hold. The key to changing your life lies in the ability to change the images you carry in your mind. You may be familiar with the idea of visualizing your desires, but what you must understand is that visualization alone is not enough. The power of your mind lies in its ability to create images that are felt, believed, and accepted as true. It is not enough to merely picture the outcome you desire. You must feel it as if it is already real. You must live in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. And as you do, you begin to impress that assumption upon your subconscious mind, which in turn shapes the outer world to align with your inner vision. The imagination is the tool through which you create. It is the workshop where your desires are formed into physical manifestations. But the imagination is not a passive activity. It requires active engagement, a conscious choice to create images that support the reality you want to experience. When you imagine something, you are not just daydreaming, you are planting seeds in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. These seeds will grow and eventually manifest in your reality. But here's the catch: the images you hold in your mind must be clear and vivid. They must be more than vague desires or abstract ideas. They must be specific and real to you. When you create mental pictures of the life you desire, you must engage all your senses, see it, feel it, hear it, and experience it as though it is happening right now. When you create these detailed images and live in the feeling of them, you are impressing them upon your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind, in turn, will work tirelessly to bring these images into physical form. This process is not always immediate, and it may seem difficult at times, but the key is persistence. Do not be discouraged by the gap between the inner image and the outer reality. The world will always conform to your inner state, but this process can take time. Trust that the images you create in your imagination are powerful seeds, and with the right conditions, faith, persistence, and the feeling of your desire already fulfilled, these seeds will sprout and grow. Now you may wonder, what happens if I look around and see evidence that contradicts my desire? What if my circumstances tell me that it is impossible to achieve what I want? This is where faith and imagination play a crucial role. You see, the world around you will always reflect your beliefs. And if you continue to believe in the reality of your current circumstances, those circumstances will persist. But if you choose to believe in a different reality, if you choose to imagine the fulfillment of your desire regardless of the evidence before you, then the outer world must shift to reflect your new inner state. The outer world cannot remain unchanged when you begin to live in the assumption of the wish fulfilled. This is the law of cause and effect. Your thoughts and assumptions are the cause, and the world around you is the effect. The moment you assume that your desire is already a reality, the outer world begins to rearrange itself to match that assumption. It may not happen instantly, but it will happen. The more persistent you are in your belief, the more consistent your feelings of fulfillment become, the more rapidly your outer world will conform to the images you hold within. Think of your life as a movie, and you are the director. You are the one who chooses the scenes, the actors, the plot, and the outcome. But to direct this movie, you must first imagine it. You must create the scenes in your mind, see the actors in their roles, and feel the emotions that come with the fulfillment of desires. When you do this, you are actively directing the course of your life. Your imagination is your creative tool, and through it, you can sculpt your reality to your desires. When you begin to see the world as a reflection of your inner state, you realize that you are the one in control. Your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions are the architects of your world, and by changing them, you change the world you live in. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your reality. But how do you ensure that the images you create are aligned with your desires? This comes from consistently focusing on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. If you want to experience more abundance, imagine yourself already wealthy, not as a distant dream, but as an existing reality. If you want better health, see yourself already healthy, strong, and vibrant. Feel the emotions that come with the fulfillment of these desires. The more real these images feel to you, the more quickly they will become a part of your reality. It's important to remember that the outer world is always shifting. It is not fixed. What you see today is not what you will see tomorrow, unless you continue to think the same thoughts and feel the same feelings. But when you change the images in your mind, when you change the beliefs you hold about yourself and the world, your circumstances must change to reflect those new beliefs. The key is to persist in your new assumptions. Even when things seem contrary, continue to see and feel the fulfillment of your desires. The outer world is merely the effect, and it must respond to the cause. When you change the cause, the effect will inevitably follow. This is the secret of creation. The world you see is a projection of your inner state. And by changing your inner world, you can change your outer world. To truly understand the power of living in the end, you must first comprehend that all creation begins and ends with the imagination. The process of creating your desired reality starts in your inner world, within your mind, before it ever takes form in the physical realm. But living in the end goes beyond mere thinking or visualizing your goal. It is about assuming the end state as if it is already done, assuming that the desire you seek has already been fulfilled. This concept is the very essence of creation. Everything you wish to experience in your life must be imagined and felt as if it is already present. The truth is, when you live in the end, you are aligning your inner state with your outer world. And in doing so, the universe must bring about the conditions to match your assumed reality. Living in the end is not a passive activity. It is an active participation in the creation of your life. It requires you to take on the role of the person who has already achieved what they desire. This means that you stop thinking of your goals as something you will eventually attain in the future, and instead, you start living as though they are already yours in the present. The key to this shift is understanding that the external world is not separate from your inner state. What you experience in your outer world is simply a reflection of the assumptions you hold about yourself and your life. Therefore, if you want your world to reflect the reality of desires, you must start by shifting your inner state, living as if it has already happened. When you make the decision to live in the end, you are no longer waiting for external circumstances to change before you feel what you desire. Instead, you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You assume the state of already having what you desire, regardless of the external circumstances. This is the secret. Live in the assumption of your wish fulfilled, and your outer world must shift to reflect that assumption. The external world is merely an effect of your inner world, and when you assume that your desire is already complete, the universe must rearrange itself to reflect that assumption. The power lies in your ability to feel as though the wish is already fulfilled, in the here and now. Imagine for a moment that you have already achieved your desired outcome. Feel the emotions associated with that success, the sense of fulfillment, joy, and peace. Imagine yourself living in the reality you wish to experience. When you embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you create a new vibration within yourself, one that is in harmony with the reality you desire. This new vibration will then attract circumstances, events, and people that are in alignment with that feeling. The world must respond to your inner state. The moment you truly live in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, everything around you will begin to reflect that new reality. Living in the end requires a shift in perception. It means that you stop seeing yourself as someone who is in the process of becoming, and instead you start to see yourself as someone who already is. This subtle but powerful shift in perspective is what propels you toward your desires. The person who has already achieved their goal does not need to chase after it, nor do they wait for external circumstances to align. They know that it is already done, and they live in the certainty of that fact. You must live with the same certainty. This concept is often met with resistance, because many are conditioned to think that they must work hard, struggle, or wait for the right conditions to manifest their desires. But living in the end requires you to discard this notion of struggle. You are not working toward your goal. You are already there. The act of living in the end is about living from the perspective of already having achieved your goal. You do not need to struggle or strive. You simply need to feel the reality of your desired outcome, as if it is already here. For example, if your desire is to be financially abundant, stop thinking of yourself as someone who is working hard to become wealthy. Instead, start living as though you are already wealthy. Feel the peace and security that comes with knowing you have more than enough. See yourself making choices from a place of abundance, not lack. By embodying the feelings of wealth and abundance, you are sending a powerful message to your subconscious mind. You are telling yourself that you already live in the reality of abundance, and your subconscious mind will begin to bring that reality into being. Similarly, if your desire is to experience better health, stop thinking of yourself as someone who is working to get healthy, or someone who is struggling with illness. Instead, begin to feel the vitality, strength, and energy of someone who is already healthy. Live as if you are already the healthiest version of yourself. Feel the joy of movement, the freedom of good health, and the confidence that comes with it. When you assume the feeling of being healthy, you align your inner world with the outer world, and your body must respond to that alignment. The key to living in the end is faith. It requires faith in the unseen, in the invisible forces that govern the universe. You must trust that what you are imagining and feeling is not just a fantasy, but a real and inevitable future. Living in the end requires you to believe that the inner world is the cause of the outer world. The moment you accept that your desire is already fulfilled, the outer world must shift to match that inner assumption. Living in the end also means that you stop looking for proof in the external world before you believe in your desires. It is easy to look around and wait for evidence that things are improving before you feel confident in your desires. But this is the opposite of living in the end. When you live in the end, you do not need external validation. You do not need the circumstances to change to prove that your desire is on its way. You trust in the unseen and know that what you feel is real. Your assumptions will shape the world, not the other way around. It is essential to remember that the power is within you. The external world is not in control of your life. You are. The world you see is simply a reflection of the images, thoughts, and feelings you carry within. When you live in the end, you begin to see the world differently. You no longer wait for things to change. Instead, you assume that your desire is already fulfilled, and the outer world must align with your inner state. This is the power of living in the end. The moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the world must change to reflect that assumption. You become the creator of your reality. One of the most important aspects of manifesting your desires is understanding that the present moment is the only time in which you can create. The past has already unfolded, and the future has not yet arrived. All that exists, all that can ever exist, is contained within the present moment. So if you wish to change your life, to transform your reality, it is essential to focus your attention on the now, because it is in the present that you have the power to shape your world. When you understand that the present moment is the point of power, it becomes clear that you must cease living in the past or waiting for the future. What you do today, right now, is what shapes tomorrow. If you are constantly reflecting on the past, replaying old memories, old patterns, mistakes, you are reinforcing a reality that no longer serves you. Likewise, if you are constantly looking ahead and waiting for the right moment or the perfect conditions to take action, you are postponing your desires. The only moment in which you can change your reality is the moment you are living right now. This is where the power of your imagination comes into play. You are not confined to the reality you see before you. You are not bound by the limitations of your present circumstances. You have the ability to step outside the bounds of time and space, to use your imagination to bring forth a new reality. Your imagination is the bridge between your current experience and your desired future. However, you cannot wait for some future moment to begin imagining the life you want. You must start right now. To bring your desires into your life, you must first imagine them in the present moment as if they are already happening. If you are looking to experience abundance, do not wait for an external sign that wealth is coming. Imagine yourself living in the fullness of your desire right now. Feel the feelings of abundance as if it has already manifested. If you desire love, do not wait for the perfect person to show up. Instead, imagine yourself already in a loving relationship, experiencing the joy, connection, and peace of being loved. The key is that you must live in the present moment and embody the feelings of your desire as though they are already here. It is easy to think that the future holds the answers to our problems, that someday things will be different, that one day the right opportunity will come. But this mindset keeps you stuck in the future, waiting for something that is already available to you now. Your desires are not in the future, they are already a part of your present reality. The only thing separating you from the fulfillment of your desires is the belief that they are not already here. This is where the power of assumption becomes critical. When you assume that your desire is already true, that it is already here, you begin to align your inner world with that truth. The world around you will begin to shift to match your assumption. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled in the present moment, no matter what your current circumstances tell you. Your circumstances are simply the effect of your past thoughts and beliefs. The moment you change your assumption, your external reality must change to reflect that assumption. Let me explain this in a simple way. If you are looking for a new job, do not wait until you are hired to feel confident and successful. Do not think, once I get the job, I will feel accomplished. That is putting the power in the future. Instead, right now, assume that you are already the person who has the job, the person who is successful and confident. Feel it now. Imagine yourself waking up in the morning, getting ready for work, and feeling a sense of pride and fulfillment because you already have the job. Your imagination is the means by which you can step into the reality of your desires today. The more you live in the feeling of having already achieved your goal, the more quickly the outer world will shift to match that inner state. The present moment is not just the place where you can create, it is also the space in which you experience your desires as if they are already fulfilled. The key to manifesting what you want is to feel the reality of it now, in the present moment. If you are constantly thinking about the future or rehashing the past, you are missing the most powerful tool you have to create your life. Everything you need to create your reality is already within you, in the present moment. The feeling of already having what you desire is the key to unlocking it in your outer world. The present moment is also where your power resides because it is the only moment in which you can take action. It is easy to think that action comes first, that you must do something in the physical world before you can create change. However, true action begins in the inner world, in the way you think, feel, and assume. Once you align yourself with the feeling of your desire, the action you need to take will come naturally. The outer world will respond to the inner changes you make, and it will guide you toward the physical actions that will bring your desires into being. Your imagination will provide the roadmap for you, and all you need to do is follow the path that unfolds before you. What is most important, then, is that you stop waiting for the perfect conditions. You must understand that you have the ability to create your ideal reality right now, by living in the assumption that it is already true. The moment you begin to live in the end, assuming that your desire is already fulfilled, the world will begin to change. It will begin to reflect the images, thoughts, and feelings you are holding in the present moment. The power to change your life is not in the future or in the past, it is right here, right now. When you recognize that the present moment is where creation occurs, you will understand that this moment is the only one you have to work with. The past is gone, and the future has not yet arrived. All you have is the present, and it is in the present that you can shift your inner state and create a new reality. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is now. The moment you choose to live in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, the universe must respond. It cannot do otherwise. You are the creator of your reality, and the moment you choose to live in the feeling of your desire fulfilled, the world around you must align with that choice. The present moment is the point of power, and it is through this power that you create your life. The true essence of transformation lies in understanding that your beliefs are not just passive thoughts or abstract concepts. They are the very foundation of your reality. The world you experience, the circumstances, events, and relationships you encounter are all direct reflections of the beliefs you hold about yourself and the world. Your beliefs shape your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, and in turn, these shape your external world. Therefore, to change your life, you must first change your beliefs. Most people are unaware of the power their beliefs hold. They walk through life accepting their beliefs as facts, without realizing that these beliefs are not fixed truths, but simply perceptions they have adopted over time. Whether these beliefs are conscious or subconscious, they are creating the world around you. If you believe that the world is a difficult place and that you are unable to succeed, you will find evidence to support that belief. If you believe that you are unworthy of love, you will attract relationships that reinforce that belief. The truth is, your external world is merely a mirror, reflecting back to you the beliefs that you carry within. To change your reality, you must begin by changing your beliefs. But this is not as simple as just thinking positive thoughts or trying to convince yourself that things are different. Changing your beliefs requires a deep shift in consciousness. You must first recognize that your beliefs are not truths, but assumptions you have been carrying with you. Once you understand that, you can begin to choose new beliefs that support the reality you wish to create. It is important to understand that beliefs are not static. They are dynamic, and you can change them at any time. The moment you begin to consciously choose new beliefs, you begin to create a new reality. But this process requires faith and persistence. It is not enough to simply say, I believe this new thing. You must feel it, live it, and experience it as if it is already true. Belief is not just a mental concept, it is a state of being. It is the feeling that accompanies the thought that confirms its truth. The way to change your beliefs is through repetition and emotional engagement. When you think about your desires, do not just think about them as distant hopes or dreams. Instead, imagine them as already fulfilled. Feel the emotions associated with the fulfillment of your desires. Live in the assumption that what you want is already here, and feel the joy, gratitude, and peace that comes with having it. The more you do this, the more deeply you impress these new beliefs upon your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the seat of your beliefs, and it is here that all change must take place. The moment you impress a new belief upon your subconscious mind, it begins to shape your external world to reflect that belief. This is where the power of feeling comes into play. Your feelings are the key to changing your beliefs. The thoughts you think are important, but it is the feelings that give those thoughts their power. When you feel deeply about something, your subconscious mind takes it as truth. This is why it is not enough to simply repeat affirmations or visualize your desires. You must feel as though they are already yours. Feel the emotions of already having what you want, the satisfaction, the joy, the relief, and as you do, you impress these feelings upon your subconscious mind. The more you do this, the more your new beliefs will take root, and the more your external reality will begin to shift. When you change your beliefs, you are also changing the lens through which you perceive the world. Your beliefs color your perception, and as you change your beliefs, you begin to see a different world. You begin to see possibilities where before you saw obstacles. You begin to notice opportunities that were once hidden from your view. Your life begins to change not because the world itself has changed, but because your perception of it has. And as your perception shifts, your experiences begin to align with your new beliefs. It is important to remember that beliefs are not always logical or rational. Many of your beliefs were formed at an early age, often based on past experiences or things you were taught by others. These beliefs may not even make sense when you examine them, but they still hold power because they have been deeply ingrained in your subconscious mind. To change your beliefs, you must be willing to question everything you have believed to be true. You must be willing to challenge the assumptions you have carried with you and open yourself to new possibilities. When you begin to change your beliefs, you may encounter resistance. The mind will often try to hold on to the old beliefs, especially if they have been deeply rooted for many years. But the key is not to resist this resistance. Rather, you must continue to persist in the assumption that your new beliefs are true, even if the external world does not immediately reflect that truth. Your faith in your new beliefs must outweigh the evidence of the senses. If you continue to live in the assumption of your new beliefs, the outer world will eventually conform to match them. One of the most powerful tools in changing your beliefs is mental rehearsal. This is the practice of vividly imagining the desired outcome and feeling the emotions that will accompany it. By doing this regularly, you are reprogramming your subconscious mind to accept the new belief as truth. As you continue to mentally rehearse your desires and live in the assumption that they are already fulfilled, you create new neural pathways in your brain, and your subconscious mind begins to accept these new beliefs as its own. Over time, these new beliefs will become second nature, and your external reality will shift to reflect them. The more you engage with your new beliefs and live in the assumption of their truth, the more you begin to radiate that new energy into the world. Your actions, your words, and your behavior will begin to reflect your new beliefs, and you will attract people and situations that align with them. Your beliefs will no longer be just thoughts in your head. They will become the reality you experience in your life. Your world will change because you have changed. Changing your beliefs is not an overnight process, but with persistence, faith, and emotional engagement, you can begin to create a new reality. The key is to understand that you are the creator of your beliefs, and as you change your beliefs, you change the world around you. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the master of your reality, and your beliefs are the tools with which you shape that reality. Begin today to choose new beliefs that support the life you desire, and watch as your world transforms to reflect those beliefs. The power of the subconscious mind is the key to understanding the reality we experience. Your subconscious mind is far more than just a storage center for memories. It is the creative force behind everything that occurs in your life. Every belief, thought, feeling, and assumption that you hold is deeply imprinted on your subconscious, which then projects those beliefs into your external world. In other words, the life you are experiencing right now is the result of what you have subconsciously accepted as true. Therefore, to change your life, you must begin by changing your subconscious beliefs. The subconscious mind is always at work, even when you are not consciously aware of it. It operates automatically, influencing your behavior, your reactions, and the circumstances that unfold in your life. This is why it is so important to become aware of what you are feeding your subconscious. Just as you feed your body with food to nourish it, you are constantly feeding your subconscious with thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions that shape your world. If you want to change your reality, you must first begin by changing the nature of what you are feeding your subconscious mind. You cannot change your life by simply trying to think more positive thoughts or by applying surface-level affirmations. True transformation happens when you change the deep-seated beliefs and assumptions held in your subconscious. This is where the real work begins. The subconscious mind does not respond to logical reasoning or conscious effort alone. It is more responsive to feelings, emotions, and vivid imagery. The key to impressing your subconscious is to create a mental environment where you feel, see, and experience your desired outcome as though it has already come to pass. The subconscious mind accepts as true whatever you feed it with consistent emotion and belief. If you are constantly thinking about lack, struggle, or failure, your subconscious will accept those thoughts and bring them into your experience. This is why it is essential to redirect your focus to what you truly desire. You must begin to live in the mental state of already having your desire fulfilled, regardless of external circumstances. When you do this consistently, your subconscious will begin to work in alignment with that new assumption, and the world around you must reflect it. The process of impressing your subconscious mind is not one of force or struggle, it is one of consistent alignment. The more often you practice imagining your desires as already fulfilled, the more deeply these impressions will take root in your subconscious. The key is to feel the emotions of having already achieved what you want, not merely think about it. Your subconscious mind responds to feelings, so the more emotionally involved you become in your desire, the more powerfully it will be impressed upon your subconscious. You may wonder how to create this feeling of already having what you want, especially if the current reality does not reflect that desire. The answer lies in the power of imagination. Imagination is the bridge between the subconscious and the outer world. Through imagination, you can create new mental images and feelings that align with your desires. Imagine yourself living the life you wish to experience. Visualize the success, the love, the abundance, whatever it is that you desire, as if it is already present in your life. Feel the joy, the gratitude, and the peace that come with having what you want. When you vividly imagine your desire and feel the corresponding emotions, you are impressing your subconscious mind with the images and feelings of your ideal reality. This process of mental rehearsal is vital in reprogramming your subconscious. The more often you mentally rehearse the scene of your desire already fulfilled, the more naturally it will begin to take root within your subconscious. Over time, this new belief will become automatic, and the outer world will begin to shift in accordance with the new assumptions you are holding. It is important to remember that you are not waiting for the world to change before you feel differently. You must feel differently now, in the present, in order to create a new reality. One of the most powerful techniques for impressing the subconscious mind is the practice of living in the end. Living in the end means that you do not wait for your desires to manifest in order to feel the emotions that come with them. Instead, you begin to feel those emotions now, as if your desire has already been fulfilled. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your subconscious mind accepts it as reality. This assumption must be held with conviction, without wavering. As you continue to live in the feeling of your desire being already present, your subconscious mind will start to draw the external circumstances and events that align with that assumption. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts whatever you impress upon it with feeling. This is why it is so important to engage your emotions when imagining your desires. If you imagine your desire with full emotional involvement, your subconscious will take it as real and begin to bring about the necessary conditions for it to manifest. This is the law of attraction in action, like attracts like. The more you feel the emotions of already having your desire, the more you will attract experiences that reflect those feelings. It is also important to recognize that your subconscious mind is constantly working behind the scenes to bring your desires into physical form. Once you impress your subconscious mind with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, it begins to create the necessary conditions for that desire to manifest. You do not need to figure out how it will happen or what steps you must take. The subconscious mind knows the way. All you must do is persist in the assumption that your desire is already yours and trust that the world will rearrange itself to bring it to you. The process of impressing the subconscious mind is an ongoing practice. It requires repetition, consistency, and faith. Each time you practice imagining your desire already fulfilled and feel the emotions associated with it, you are deepening the impression upon your subconscious mind. Over time, this becomes your new reality. Your subconscious mind will begin to filter out old beliefs and assumptions that no longer serve you, and will replace them with new ones that align with your desires. Understanding the power of the subconscious mind gives you the key to transforming your life. When you align your conscious mind with your subconscious beliefs and emotions, you begin to consciously create the life you desire. Your beliefs, thoughts, and emotions are the seeds of your reality, and your subconscious mind is the fertile ground in which those seeds are planted. As you continue to impress your desires upon your subconscious, you will see your outer world begin to change, reflecting the inner changes you have made. In the end, the power lies within you. You are the creator of your reality, and the subconscious mind is the tool you use to shape your world. The more you consciously direct your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, the more you will see the world respond to those inner changes. Trust in the power of your subconscious mind, and know that as you impress your desires upon it with faith and feeling, the world will inevitably rearrange itself to bring those desires into physical manifestation. In conclusion, the journey to creating the life you desire begins within, and it starts with the understanding that your inner world shapes your outer reality. Every thought, feeling, and belief you hold is a powerful force that shapes your experiences. The key to transformation lies in recognizing the immense power you possess to consciously direct and align your thoughts with your desires. By understanding the role of imagination, assumption, and belief, you can start to shift your reality, not through external circumstances, but through the thoughts and emotions that you choose to focus on in the present moment. Your subconscious mind is the creative force that takes these impressions and brings them into being. It is through consistent mental rehearsal, emotional involvement, and living in the assumption of the wish fulfilled that you begin to impress upon your subconscious the reality you desire. The more you feel the emotions of your desires as already being fulfilled, the more you align your inner world with your desired outcome, and in turn, the outer world begins to reflect those inner changes. Remember that change does not happen overnight, but with faith, persistence, and patience, your beliefs will reshape your reality. You have the ability to rewrite your story, to create new patterns, and to live in alignment with your deepest desires. Trust in the power of your imagination and the law of assumption, knowing that you are the creator of your reality. And as you continue to live in the feeling of your dreams already fulfilled, the universe will respond in kind, bringing your desires into physical form. The life you desire is not out of reach. It is already within you. You must simply align your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions with it, and allow the power of your subconscious mind to bring it into your experience. You are not a victim of circumstance, but the master of your destiny. Trust in your ability to create, and watch as your world transforms to reflect the truth you choose to believe.